Hey everyone, this is Nekyia Circuits Root Locus. Nekyia is new on the scene. They released a few modules last year, and it seems like they're positioning themselves to be providing fresh takes on classic analog circuits. This one is based on the CGS512 filter, which is the Surge Variable Q voltage controlled filter. It's a multi-mode filter, which means that it has outputs for high pass, low pass, band patch, and notch filtering. Now there are a lot of multi-mode filters out there. I think that the Root Locus has some features that make it a little bit unique, and that's what I'm going to show you here today. Most notably, there's a variable out that you can use to sweep through the different filtering modes. It's also a pingable filter, which makes it really useful for making percussive sounds and rhythm patches. And then there's a sub-frequency mode that you can use it to actually filter out control voltages. In today's video, I'm just going to walk you through the basic functioning and layout of the module. Then I've got some patches that I want to show you, including the one that I was playing at the intro. And we're going to break it down, and I'm going to show you how I patched up that whole thing using the Root Locus. Now, as I was exploring this module, I found a ton of different creative ways to use it, so I'm likely going to spread it out over multiple videos. So make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified when a new one comes out. Nekyia Circuits also has a whole bunch of new modules coming out soon that look really cool. I'm hoping to get my hands on them and demo them, so stay tuned to hear more about those. I'll put a link to their website in the description in case you want to check it out. Also, you can find my Patreon page there, affiliate links, and all that stuff. If you want to support my channel, I'd really appreciate it. All right, with all that said, let's head over to the rack, make some music. Okay, so let's start with just a basic overview of the module. Like all filters, you have a frequency control, a resonance control. It's labeled Q here. You can modulate the frequency of the cutoff right here at this input, and it's got an attenuverter to control how much the modulation impacts things. Whereas a lot of modules have attenuators, this one is an actual attenuverter. So at 12 o'clock, it doesn't have any impact. This would invert whatever signal is coming in, and this would just apply the signal. Over here we have gain, which as you turn it up, you'll notice that once you get past about the 12 o'clock mark, it starts adding some distortion and saturation, which is really cool. We'll hear that in a second. It's got two inputs, and you can crossfade between them using this knob, which you can also control through control voltage as well. Now, the reason it's called a multi-mode filter is because you have these different filters available to you. You have a standard low pass, a band pass, a notch filter, and a high pass filter. And you can switch through them if you want using this output, and you can control them through this knob. You can't get the notch filter. It goes between a low pass filter through the band pass and into a high pass filter, but it's still pretty cool. And of course, you can control this knob through this input right here. We'll get to ping in a second. I've got a whole patch dedicated to just the ping, and I'll also explain how it can filter out and control voltages as well using this sub-frequency button. Right now it's up, it's not active, and I'm just going to walk through what the filter sounds like. Okay, so I set up a basic voice using my Multimode VCO. It's a pulse wave, and I'm using Quadrax as an envelope and my IntelliGel Quad VCA as a VCA. And I'm sending that signal directly into the filter. So let's just start right there. That's just a simple low pass filter. Even though I'm coming out of the variable out, it's set all the way to low pass right here. And you can see it sounds just awesome. The filter is super clean when the Q is turned down. You don't lose any of the low end when you start turning up the Q. And it has that great resonance sound when you sweep the filter with the Q up. So let's play it and switch the mode as we're going. And this is where it gets really fun with all these different modulation sources. Let's just hook up a few to our LFOs. See, and that just sounds so cool. Let's add a little bit of delay to that just for fun. Super cool stuff. Now, there are two different inputs here. You can, of course, get creative and plug in all types of different things and modulate with a crossfader here. But one simple way to approach it is to use two waveforms from the same oscillator. So now you can switch between pulse wave and a ramp wave. And of course, you could modulate that. You could even use a pulse wave out to switch between those two if you wanted to. Let's increase the gain and add some of that distortion. Okay, so now you get a sense of what the basic layouts do and what all your modulation sources are. Let's get into some fun stuff and see if we can make some really kind of creative sounds to it. Okay, let's walk through this patch. So I'm going to take this apart and then we'll build it up slowly so you can see how each patch affects the sound. Okay, so first of all, we're just going to come out of the variable out and into our mixer. So what's making the actual sound is that I'm pinging the filter right here. So let's go ahead and start there. This is the clock. It's just basically swinging 16th notes from the clock upon, and we'll plug it right into our ping. Now, if we're pinging the LFO, you can control the frequency right here. Let's listen as we turn that up. And we'll put our sequence right into the volts per octave. That sounds great too. I'm adding a little bit of delay through the C legs. Now that's super fun. Let's add some movement to it. I'm taking some slow LFOs out of here and I'm using number 3 and 4, which is this one and this one. You can see how fast they're moving right here. It's not very fast. And that we're just sending into the Q and into the mode. Now what that does is the Q almost acts like a velocity. So here, I'll play it without it, so just so you can hear it. If we turn it down, you can't really hear the tones come out, but as we turn it up, you can hear them. So if we have it being modulated from an external source, it creates a repetitive rhythmic sound. Just gives it a little bit of space. We'll take the other LFO and we'll put it to the mode. So just so you can hear what the differences in sound there are. So obviously it gives that little clicky sound. So if we stick an LFO in there, It's really nice. It creates those clicks every now and then, and again, adds that rhythmic variety. Now that's cool and all, but it doesn't have that grit that was going in the original patch. And that's where the frequency modulation comes in. So there's a couple of different things we're going to do. We're going to take a triangle wave coming out of our VCO and plug it into this frequency CV. Now this one's super fun to play with too. If you just, even a tad bit adds a lot of movement to it. So it's great if you turn on a little bit of delay. Let's listen to what that sounds like. Pretty cool stuff. But there's one more element that we are going to use, and that is we are going to plug in another sound source. Let's go with a pulse wave, and we'll plug that directly into the in. That sounds absolutely fantastic. And if you want to modulate that even more, just to add even more rhythmic variety, we can plug in here to go back and forth between these two. So that way, when it's all the way over here, so let's go ahead and modulate that, and we'll send that from another LFO. We'll go with number 2 here and see what it sounds like. Pretty awesome stuff. And then of course, if you really wanted to make it rhythmically lock in, you could use a clock sync modulation like PAMS or something. I really like having non-clock sync modulation. It just kind of creates up some variety in the rhythm as things go on. Okay, let's go through another fun way to patch it. We're going to make it self-oscillate. I'm going to go from the high pass filter, we'll send that into input 2, and we'll turn it up to input 2 all the way. And as we bring up our sound, and you can see right here on the data, so there are some fun ways you can play with it and just make weird sounds, but also watch what happens to the shape if we switch between our different modes. And so of course you could modulate that using an LFO, but for right now, let's just set it right there. And let's see what happens if we send our sequence through it. So we'll go again from the Turing machine, and we'll just plug it right into this volts per octave. Now, something that's interesting too is you can actually use this as a VCA. So we don't have to use our quad VCA at all. So I'm going to switch this over to this one, and we're going to plug the envelope from Quadrax right into there. Watch what happens. Now, just to make it cooler, let's go ahead and plug in a tone into this side. Oh yeah. I've taken the envelope out of here because I want to show you something else. If we plug in an audio rate signal into our other input, you can get some crazy distorted sounds. Let's go ahead and plug it into the frequency CV. As you can see, there's tons of awesome, kind of cool FM sound design opportunities here. Loads of stuff to play with. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the sub-frequency range. So when we push down this button right in the middle, we can actually filter out control voltages. So one use for that immediately jumps to mind is to use it as a slew limiter. So what a slew limiter does is it takes stepped voltages, like the ones that come from the Turing machine, and that are used to sequence things. If we add some slew, some smoothness to those, it creates nice slides in between the notes. So let's take a look at how to do that. Let's hear it sequence just from the Turing machine into the mini mod without it going through the filter at all. Let's take that sequence and use the root locus as a slew limiter. So I'm going to take the sequence out of my volts per octave and we'll plug it into the root locus. Then I'll come out of the variable out right back into the mini mod. Just kind of creates that squelchy kind of sound to it. What's really neat is if you turn it all the way down, it filters it out so much that the slew passes through multiple notes, and it creates a really fun way to play it by operating the knob manually. And then of course, because we can modulate it here, let's go ahead and plug in an LFO. Oh, that's awesome. Super fun stuff. All right, there you have it. That's the root locus from Nekyia Circuits. I hope you got something out of this video, that it got those creative juices flowing, and you can think about ways that you could patch this, or maybe you want to get the root locus and integrate it in your setup. If you have a favorite multi-mode filter, let us know down in the comment section. I really love hearing from all of you and what you guys are using, so make sure to let me know. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out Nekyia Circuits website in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.